One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only so can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Yes, sir. Good morning to everybody. Let's pop this show off, man. Much love, honor, and respect to all of you guys, a part of the Breakfast Club, man. I very much appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Guys, we got a very interesting one this morning. We got Donald Trump holds the mega rally, all right, at Madison Square Garden. We're going to be covering that, as well as we're going to be covering, believe it or not, we got some breaking news going on with Israel and Hamas. So, of course, we're going to go ahead and discuss that. Let me go ahead and bring that down. Sorry. All right. So, yeah, we're definitely going to be going into some craziness this morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you legends. I very much appreciate all of you guys for showing up and hanging out with me. You know what I mean? You guys could be anywhere in the world, but you guys are here right here with me. So before we get into it, make sure you guys hit that like button. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube, man. I very much appreciate that. If you're new here, make sure to hit that sub button down below. Also, make sure you follow me on my Instagram. That's where I post everything behind the scenes at BallValveTV. Very much appreciate that. And, I will respond to your direct messages. I promise. It just takes me a minute. Also, we have this scrolling down below. If you guys would like to help out the show monetarily, helps out humongous. Super chats, channel members, of course, shouted out. But we have these down below. And, of course, we're going to read those out as we go along with the show, man. Very much appreciate every single one of you guys for being here, man. Hopefully you guys all had a wonderful weekend. It is Monday, and we're trying to enjoy ourselves. Isn't that right? We got our coffee brewed up. We're ready to get down with our bad selves. You know what I mean? We got Dean up in here saying honor and respect all. Appreciate you for being here, kind sir. Good morning. Over there in Israel. Let's see. Congrats on the steps, Mike. Had no idea you were an amputee. Respect. Oh, wow, Dean. It's totally crazy, but that is my story, man. Real quick before we go into it, I was able to get on my leg for the first time since August 2nd. Okay, so since August 2nd, I haven't been able to walk until Saturday. Saturday evening, I went out with the family, and of course, that was the first time I was able to wear my leg again. So, of course, it's a long kind of process, that you're in. But this is what I posted yesterday. These were my very, very first steps.
Guess what, baby? We're back.
Facts. I'd only walked for like maybe 2 minutes prior.
Guess what, baby? We're back.
And so we're still out here doing our thing. You know what I mean? It's my buddy.
You gonna wait till fanboy, that boy, will tell tomorrow.
Beautiful here in northern Alabama, man.
You gonna wait till fanboy, that boy, will tell tomorrow. It's going down tonight, I gotta come out stepping, greasing my khakis before I leave.
So, real quick, before we go into that, I did send this over to me so that I could show you guys. First time standing and being out in a minute, you know what I mean? It's always a good time when you can actually be on your own 2 feet, you know what I mean? And here's my buddy's publicist, super nice. Her name was Vicky. And then this is my buddy Nick. And yeah, man, he absolutely kills it out there. And so we had a great time yesterday. But nonetheless, I just wanted to break that down real quick before we got into some crazy politics for the day. Before we do, you know, this is about to get crazy. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I very much appreciate that. Here we go. So we're going to start off just breaking news an hour ago. Live news, live now from Fox. The IDF reports 100 Hamas terrorists detained in Gaza hospital raid.
Right now, we are following a new breaking news alert as it relates to conflict in the Middle East. Take a good look at your screen. You're getting a
Bees are up in the building with the hot gifted membership in the channel, man. I very much appreciate that, kind sir. Thank you for your patronage. It goes so fucking far, man. Thank you for that. Let's get into this shit. This is going to be a wild one, man.
live look out in Khan Yunis, Gaza. We're learning at this hour, Israel's military saying they detained 100 suspected Hamas militants in a raid on a hospital in northern Gaza over the weekend. Now, Israel has raided several hospitals in Gaza over the course of this year-long war, saying Hamas and other militants used them for military purposes. Palestinian medical officials denying those allegations and accusing the military of recklessly endangering civilians. Joining us live this morning to further discuss this breaking news alert, none other than the Executive Director of Scholars for Peace in the Middle East, Dr. Asaf Ramawaski. Good morning to you, Dr. Asaf. Always a pleasure.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So this news just coming into our live now from Fox Studios, courtesy of the Associated Press. And I think it further shows how the fight against Hamas is nowhere near over, despite those ceasefire negotiations underway in Egypt. To know that just 100 were detained, and I'm sure there are still several hundreds of thousands more, shows how big of a fight this is against Hamas.
Sure. So let's break it down for a second.
Yeah, people don't even understand how beautiful Alabama is. Unless you're from here or you've actively like visited and you know the places, man, Alabama is beautiful. Like, most of the time, people that got opinions about places like that have never even been. So, you know, I say keep out. You know what I mean?
On this to try to contextualize where we are. So it's worthy of note, of course, that this has been one of the fierce areas in the area of Jabalia. The individuals that were arrested were in the Adwan hospital in the area of Jabalia. Hospitals and other civilian facilities have long been compromised, and we've seen this since the beginning of the war, going back to Shifa Hospital and other hospitals along the way.
Oh shit! Dean ended up getting the membership. Oh no, he had one. Yeah, that's right.
Been the nucleus of Hamas's intelligence, Hamas's munition stockpiles, and as we've seen with those other hospitals here too,
good to see him, man.
The IDF was able to arrest 100 Hamas terrorists. They found documents, they found intelligence, they found munitions. I mean, let's not forget.
Damn, what did they find? Oh man, freaking party out all night and you get voice cracks. All right, let's see what he said.
Hospitals here too. The IDF was able to arrest 100 Hamas terrorists.
I miss Bama too.
They found documents, they found intelligence, they found munitions. I mean, let's not forget, if you connect the dots, this is, Hamas has embedded itself within Palestinian society. They've compromised Palestinian society. Palestinian society has been in cahoots with Hamas. It's the same society that held on, and it still does, to the hostages who were, some of them were above ground in civilian population. So it's no surprise that this continues on. And to your point earlier, that indeed does provide more evidence that the fight still continues.
Good to see all of you guys rolling in, by the way. We're doing a double coverage. So we've got a little bit of breaking news this morning. So we're going to go ahead and talk about this real quick. And then we're going to move into the Trump rally. Okay, guys? This is only, I think it's pretty short. So I think it's like 12 minutes or something like that. And we're already kind of like halfway there.
Continues. Well, Hamas at large, has been largely devastated. This also speaks to how embedded Hamas is Palestinian society in Gaza at large. And when you zoom out,
Dion, that's why I was like, I could have swore it looked like Dean at first. I'm like, I thought Dean already had it, but you're right. Nice.
Regional an environment that we're currently in post the attack on Iran,
100%
these are all part of Iran proxies, and they all feel motivated to show that they are standing by their larger patrons, the Iranians. And even after Sinwar's assassination,
no, it's not.
His marching orders was
not coffee time yet, because we just got Brother Shadow gifting out a membership, man. Look at that shit, man. Thank you so fucking much for the patronage to the channel, man. I very much appreciate you. Who got it? Who got it, man? Thank you so much for the donation.
Continue the fight. So you're seeing that take place, and you're seeing it materialize on the streets of Gaza. And that's what the IDF is clearly still dealing with, and this urban warfare. And let's not forget that here we are, a year plus later, and there are still 101 hostages who are still in Gaza.
After this whole ordeal, after my stream, go over to Hardwire's show if you missed it Sunday, because Glare and himself, Hardwire, were on there, and it was a great conversation.
So of course the IDF is continuing its objective. It's also worthy of note that yesterday was the official ceremony of the war, of the massacre of 10/7 in Israel. So all of this is following on the heels of the timing of all of this. Again, no coincidence, and this is all part of the understanding the connectivity between the larger regional state sponsors and the actors on the ground.
Thank you so much for that detailed perspective, Dr. Asaf. And I want to ask you, because with many of these reports, of course, the other side, the Palestinian health officials, they will respond. And right now they're saying, okay, well, this isn't true. They aren't hiding out in the hospitals. But let's be—
Of course, they're gonna use all sorts of lies and manipulation.
Clear. We've seen the actual video from Israeli Defense Forces when they've gone into these hospitals, even schools, if we're being candid. And we've seen the tunnels in real time, sometimes even seeing bags of food that were supposed to be aid for the Palestinian people hiding in those tunnels as well. I want to ask you if you can contextualize as well the Palestinian health officials and the lack of help they are giving to the people of Gaza, as it seems many times. Some of the viewers have even commented that it seems like those Palestinian health officials that are supposed to be aiding the people of Gaza.
We got Papa Penguin up in the building. Appreciate you for being here, kind
sir.
Like
good morning. They are on the side of Hamas.
That's exactly the point. The Ministry of Health of Gaza, quote unquote, is Hamas. They have a clear by design understanding of aggrandizing what they believe is, this starvation and famine and genocide.
Brother Dwayne,
these are all trigger words.
Not feeling too good. What's going on with you over there, Dwayne? Are you all right? I hate when I don't feel good, or I'm like feeling exhausted.
Propaganda to describe the environment itself. The fact of the matter is that Israel, the IDF, has been fighting this urban warfare and fighting it like no other army has been, or to maintain.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even actually know that, Dean. I mean, of course you can speculate, right? But they took all the food aid and sold it back to the locals. That way they keep funds coming in, millions. Fuck,
the integrity of the civilian population. Let's not forget that early on in the war, they were told by the White House not to go into Rafah. Nobody's going to be able to move the citizens outside into a safe zone. The IDF did over 1 million people. The IDF was able to vaccinate Palestinian society. There is more aid that's going into Gaza post 10/7 than there was pre-10/7. What is happening is many of these agencies, of course, show their true colors, namely groups like UNRWA, the UN Workers Relief Agency, which has been proven to be complacent, hand in hand with Hamas, where you had many of their workers who are going around and using and abusing so-called diplomatic immunity with UNRWA passports. You had UNRWA teachers, UNRWA doctors who have been actively participated in the atrocities and in the slaughter of 10/7. And even now, when Yahya Sinwar was assassinated, and that was a big success for Israel, he was found
Carney, good to see you, my man. Appreciate you for
his body
and hanging out with
passport
us.
To show how embedded they are with Palestinian society, the fact that UNRWA is indeed Hamas. So when you talk about these international organizations and the kind of messaging that they want to give out, they're actually not neutral. They are completely biased, and they are all bought in hook, line, and sinker into the Hamas narrative. And by the way, the same narrative exists in the north with groups like UNIFIL, with Hezbollah. So one should clearly question exactly what these groups are and who they're about. And this also has to do, and this may be a larger issue that we're not there yet, in the question of the day after tomorrow scenario, what agencies should be actually allowed to stay in Gaza. Interestingly enough, today at the Israeli parliament, there's actually a proposal on the table to say that UNRWA should be recognized as a terrorist organization and should be removed from the scene. And this is also very telling about the amount of evidence that Israel has given to the United States. By the way, parenthetically, it's worth noting that the United States is one of the largest funders of UNRWA at large, in the tone of $400 million taxpayer dollars a year that we go to fund this fallacious, larger refugee enterprise.
We need some left-handed
that only
tobacco.
Perpetuates the problem that actually solves the problem. And I put refugees in double quotes here.
Yeah, Dr. Asaf, I'm glad you
got to get ready, because we're somewhat done with this video here, but we got to get prepared for the big ass speech over there, man. It's going to be a good time.
Point, because it further adds to the confusion that surrounds this post-war plan, right? We know right now, even though the war is going on in Gaza, Israel and other entities are working to still try to eradicate this humanitarian crisis, which, if we're being frank, this crisis existed far before October 7th. There were still people out there dealing with famine, lack of nutrition, and other necessities that are needed to live a basic, decent life. So what happens if a ceasefire deal is reached, considering...
Yo, shout out my brother Nitro up in the building. Appreciate you for being here, man.
Many of these humanitarian agencies can't be trusted.
No, they can't. I mean, and this is also part of the concern that, and the debate that's been happening between Washington and Jerusalem. But to my earlier point, the amount of aid that's coming in and the amount, I mean, let's put it into statistical terms as well. There's actually been more births in Gaza post 10/7 than there has been, so this is, if a country wants to actually, eradicate and destroy the area.
They've had more birth, like their birth rate went up. That's
it wouldn't
weird.
Be the amount of births that you saw happening in Gaza. Israel is the one who's been concerned about maintaining that humanitarian integrity and trying to straddle, which in contrast to Hamas, which does not do, differentiates. Israel does differentiate between combatants and non-combatants. And that's really one of the major concerns.
Damn, you think zero chance for peace over the next 2 to 3 generations.
Concerns that the Israelis have. Damn it. Who is going to take responsibility for Gaza, and not to mention security-wise that the IDF.
Yep, and I heard, because I actually haven't watched it yet, but I have heard that it's nothing actually that special. It's nothing that we haven't not already heard from Trump, so hence why I didn't actually cover it. But 33 million hits on Trump on Rogan interview. That is crazy. It's a lot of people listening.
And I think that at this point it's proven very clearly that there's really no partner on the other side of the IDF can trust, which is why exactly they are continuing to stay in the area. And there are major concerns. This item in itself is not a small item. When the IDF put forth over a year ago the eradication of Hamas and the disentanglement, or to de-Hamasify Gaza from Hamas itself, that's what it all also means. They have to start from scratch. And those are the unknown questions yet. I do believe that within the United Nations, there are still other departments that could break the monopoly of UNRWA and to start rebuilding something else. But this current environment is not sustainable. It's an untenable situation. And we as Americans, as far as Americans.
Are we really that surprised though, Papa?
Have to think about where our taxpayer dollars are going, into what entities, and what's the return on investment. And that's really a larger issue that, obviously relates to the day after tomorrow scenario.
And also to the presidential election right here in the U.S. So great point. Dr. Asaf, really quickly, if we can get back to these suspected Hamas militants that were detained over the weekend.
On X, it's humongous. Anything politics on X is going to get like triple the amount of viewers over there than it would on YouTube,
Weekend. There's also concern this morning as relates to these Hamas militants that are still out on the prowl. They are still committing terroristic acts. There's also concern about the ceasefire and the proposition of releasing hostages, which would be an amazing thing in exchange for those Palestinian prisoners, where some of them have committed their own murders and rapes and those type of things. There's concerns they could continue to aid Hamas once they are released. Could you provide that perspective, please?
Sure. So first of all, let's be clear. Every one of the prisoners, so-called prisoners that Israel, that Hamas has asked for, are active terrorists. I mean, I think it's a given that if they are released, they are going to go back and continue on doing this barbaric slaughtering and join the ranks of Hamas, hook, line, and sinker. And we saw it, when it happened with Sinwar, who was committed to, and it was the mastermind of 10/7, who was released in the Gilad Shalit deal. So these are main concerns that the Israelis have. That being said, obviously the number one issue has been how do we bring back the hostages, dead or alive, back to their families. And I think that this has been part of the psychological warfare, as you and I have been discussing for months now, and making this happen. The current proposal on the table, which I find, I'm not really sure what to make of it. I mean, they're talking about Egypt, maybe 4 or 5 individuals.
What's up, Ron, over there in Australia, man? Big shout out to you.
To the 101 that are still known. So I'm not sure what that actually means. Let's not forget that the Egyptians have been complacent with 10/7 in the sense that they've been allowing through their tunnels the armament, the oxygen of Gaza to come in. And so I think that they're trying at this point, and to your point before, to try to be a player a few days before the elections here in the States to show that in the reality and in the kind of post the elections here in the States that they are willing to play ball. This is exactly, I think, part of the conversations that have been taking place inside of Israel, that they did not want these.
I like how you're doing that on November 3rd. I like
negotiations to take place in Egypt, and actually the head of the Mossad is actually in Doha and trying to put pressure over there. Let's also remind everybody that one of the key individuals, one of the former heads of the Hamas Politburo, Khalid Mashal.
No matter who wins, there's going to be a ton of bitching. No matter what.
Is in Qatar, living a lavish life as a billionaire. He's the one who still holds a lot of the cards. And he could actually end the war if he went on Al Jazeera TV and said, I surrender, let's release the hostages, and all of this could be over. But Hamas is still the one who holds on to these hostages as their.
Does he actually have that claim, SNS? That's crazy. That nobody should be above the law. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Their lifeline, and they use and abuse that. And this is why the war continues and will continue until these objectives are being met.
All right. Well said there, kind sir. Appreciate the input over there. So now you guys know what we're getting ourselves into. We're getting ourselves into a little bit of craziness. And of course, we're not going to watch like all the shit leading up to Trump talking. We're just going to go ahead and skip right to Trump talking. We're not going to do introductions. We're just going straight to it. So this is right off of Fox News. This was obviously streamed 18 hours ago at the Madison Square Garden. And so let's go ahead and check out this rally, man. Absolutely, Papa. Facts. You need to be leading by example.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
By the way, yes, thank you guys, by the way, for being here and hanging out with us over here on this side of the internet, man. I very much appreciate it, by the way. Make sure if you guys are enjoying it, man, hit that like button. I very much appreciate that, man. What's up, Joker? Good to see you, man. Much love, honor, and respect, man.
Thank you very much to a very popular former First Lady, hopefully First Lady again. Woo. And I just want to say a very big hello to a special place, New York, and to an incredible arena, Madison Square Garden. Incredible.
Yes, he did. I saw it, Dean.
And then we have all of the people that could fill it up 10 times. You take a look at outside what's going on all the way down to the river, the beautiful, beautiful Hudson River. They're outside watching this now at levels that nobody's ever seen before. They've never had it And I want to thank Jim Dolan. He's been incredible. He's been just incredible. The job they've done.
We put the captions on too, real quick.
Job they've done. Thank you. But I'm thrilled to be back in the city I love. And
yo, Martin, good to see you, man.
Thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. You're with me. We're all together. We've always been together. And I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
Hell no. I think we all can answer that.
I'm here today with a message of hope.
I speak for everyone.
Hope for all Americans. With your vote in this election, I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of criminals coming into our country. And I will bring back the American dream. We need the American dream to come back home. Our country will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before.
Well, it's all about who can raise that money, popularity, and who can raise the money.
This election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more
Absolutely,
years
Dean.
of
Well, we'll see on the flip side. Be safe over there, and we'll see on the flip side, man.
gross incompetence and failure, or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country.
What up, Melba? I see you in here. Appreciate you.
We will achieve success that no one can imagine. We will have the strongest economy, the most secure borders, the safest cities, the most powerful military, the best trade deals, and we will dominate the frontiers of science, medicine, business, technology, and space.
What up, Cuzzo? Good morning, kind
And I'm asking you to be excited about the future of our country again. I'm asking you to dream big again. We're going to dream big again. We haven't been dreaming big at all. This will be America's new golden age. It's going to happen quickly, too, very quickly.
Yep, big time, Carney. Big time.
Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands. Next Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris that you've done a terrible job, that crooked Joe Biden has done a terrible job. You've destroyed.
That sounds great. A beer cave at Sheets. Like, that's the name of the place? Is that a city or is that the name of the place, Sheets? That's crazy sounding.
Our country. We're not going to take it anymore. Kamala, you're fired. Get out. Get out. You're fired.
Damn. He used his old term from his own coin phrase from Celebrity Apprentice. You're fired.
Early voting is underway in every swing state, and we are setting all-time records. They're voting, I tell you what. I don't want to talk about it, but we have to keep it going. We got to get out and vote. We just have to.
Okay, yeah, I've never even heard of it, but that sounds great. Hell yeah, we're going to
Get out. And who would have thought this was going to happen? We're leading in every swing state.
Yo, Mr. Good to see you, my man.
But it doesn't mean a thing. It only means how are we doing at the end. So look, we have 9 days from now, and we're going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we're going to win back the beautiful White House, and we're going to make America great again, and it's going to happen fast.
Wow, Martin. Holy shit, small world. They arrest you every time Andrew says.
Thank you.
By the way, I heard that there was 20,000 people or something like that in the crowd here at Madison Square Garden. And then there was like 100,000 total, like outside. I guess tens of thousands of people were like being denied to go in. I don't know that to be true. I'm asking you guys.
In less than 4 years, Kamala Harris has shattered our middle class. She cast the deciding votes that launched the worst inflation in the history of our country. She cost the typical American family over $3,000 in a short period, but over $30,000 over the
And I respect that, Shadow, by the way.
last 3 years. She killed 50,000 manufacturing jobs this year alone.
No way. She's run.
Now Kamala wants to raise the typical family taxes by nearly $3,000 a year and impose a 33% tax hike on all domestic production. If Kamala Harris gets 4 more years, our economy can never recover.
Yo, what up?
If I win, we will quickly build the greatest economy in the history of the world. Which is what we had in our last term. We will rapidly defeat inflation.
And that was very true, by the way, Papa. He says, to be fair, we've got one candidate that can't string together a coherent sentence and another who can't stop talking, which is actual factuals, by the way. It's actually kind of true. I mean, obviously it's true. You know what I mean? Yeah, I agree.
And we will very simply make America affordable again. We're going to make it affordable. Right? I will massively cut taxes for workers and small businesses, and we will have
welfare.
No
oh my God.
Tax on tips. No tax on overtime. And no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors.
Did he say that because of the live viewing audience as well or something like that? Like, how could you make such a crazy ass claim?
And I'm announcing a new policy today that I will support a tax credit for family caregivers who take care of a parent or a loved one. It's about time that they were recognized, right?
Yeah. Did you guys hear that?
We'll support a tax credit for family caregivers who take care of a parent or a loved one. It's about time that they were recognized, right? They add
It's not a very conservative move, by the way, just saying.
So much to our country and are never spoken of.
I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just saying it's not a very conservative move.
Be spoken of now. Thank you all very much. I'll also make interest on car loans fully tax deductible, but only for cars made in America. Have to be made in America. And we will achieve energy independence.
What's up, Danny?
And we will do something. We want it so badly. We're going to do something. You know what we're going to do? Front row Joes. You know, I got front row Joes.
Damn, Steve. That sounds like you're going straight to Starbucks Elite over there. Damn.
Here, I got the ladies from North Carolina, number 249. This is the 200, and you look so beautiful. We have a lot of people. They followed us, but we're going to do something. The ladies can tell you what we're going to do. We're going to drill a baby drill.
I knew he was going to say that, of course. This is a little coin phrase.
And I will terminate the Green New Scam.
Yes, it is, Tiffany.
And we'll cut your energy prices in half, 50%, within 1 year from January 20th. Is the fake news hearing that? What?
That is a radical thing to say right there. Hold on. He said, we'll cut your energy prices in half in the first year.
And we'll cut your energy prices in half, 50%, within 1 year from January 20th. Is the fake news hearing that? Whoa. Look how much. Wow, that's a lot of fake news.
Woo!
That is a lot of fake news. Look at that. Wow. That's got to be a record, Mr. Speaker. I think that's a record. That is a lot of fakers back there. To bring back millions of jobs, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the best and biggest market on the planet. Remember this, if we keep going like this, we won't have the biggest and the best. We won't have a market, we won't have a country. But only for those who make their product here in the USA and hire American workers for the job.
Good to see you over there in England. Good morning, good afternoon to you.
And if these companies don't make their products here, then they will pay a very stiff tariff when they send their products into the United States for the privilege of competing with our workers and our now protected companies. We're going to protect our companies. They're not leaving anymore. They're not leaving anymore.
So far,
we're also going to pass.
That's the only gas station, like the Southern gas station shit. Like, I know it's kind of big here in the South. That's the only one I've been to, believe it or not, is the Buckeyes, whatever. And I've only been there one time, and I recorded my time being there. I put it on Instagram. I was like blown the fuck away with, I mean, it was a fucking mall. I had never seen anything like it, but yeah. Anyways.
The Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, meaning if China or any other country charges us 100 or 200% tax or tariff, we will then charge them a 100 or 200% tax or tariff. It's called an eye for an eye.
Eye for
and
an eye.
I will never apologize for the charges us 100 or 200% tax or tariff. We will then charge them a 100 or 200% tax or tariff.
Yeah, of course.
It's called an eye for an eye.
Yeah, I understand.
And I will never apologize for defending America. I will protect our workers. I will protect our jobs. I will protect our borders. I will protect our great families. And I will protect the birthright of our children to live in the richest and most powerful nation on the face of the earth. As we rescue our economy, I will also restore.
He's actually pretty good regarding the ILW. Like, believe it or not, as someone as an ILW member, you know what I mean? I can tell you that he's never actually had an actual issue with us. Yeah, I mean, he talked a little shit, but other than that, you know, he's not going to actually like
our borders.
He's not going to go against.
There's never been anything like it.
He knows not to go against the ILW.
It's bigger than inflation.
Like the ILW has more fucking like, we can stop all commerce at one given moment, and he knows it. You know what I mean? So that's hence why you got to be, whoever president you are, whoever the hell you are, you've got to play a little nice with the ILW guys. You know what I mean?
Inflation, it's bigger than the economy. What they're doing to our country, they're allowing criminals from all over the world to enter our country. Over the past 4 years, Kamala Harris has orchestrated the most egregious betrayal that any leader in American history has ever inflicted upon our people. She has violated her oath, eradicated our sovereign border, and unleashed an army of migrant gangs who are waging a campaign of violence and terror against our citizens.
I do agree with that.
There has never been anything like it anywhere in the world for any country. Kamala has imported criminal migrants from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions from all around the world, from Venezuela.
See, that's honor right there. And like Trump said, like, this is a huge part of America that should be actually noticed. But no one's ever talked about these people, the ones that actually needed, you know, to stop what they were doing in their life to take care of their father or mother or sister, or whoever, you know what I mean? Whatever family member. And yeah, it's heavy, man. Absolutely.
To the Congo, a lot of people are coming
My
from
hat
the
is off to
Congo
you,
prisons. They're coming from all over the world. Over the last month, 181 countries violated our laws. And she has resettled them into your communities to prey upon innocent American citizens. But
Yep, Papa just said that. Absolutely right. That's some real man shit right there. Absolutely. 7 years of taking care of family members. That is definitely heavy.
Today I take the oath of office. The migrant invasion of our country ends, and the restoration of our country begins. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has imported into our country is the savage Venezuelan.
I actually didn't know that, Lee. That's heavy as well, man.
Venezuelan prison gang. Nice group of people. They got together in prison. The worst prison.
Nice group of guys, right?
Not the cast.
Super nice. Super nice.
In the world, they say. It's called Tren de Aragua.
Aragua.
And that is taking over apartment complexes and unleashing a violent killing spree all over America, especially in Aurora, Colorado, where we have a governor who's petrified of them, and maybe he should be. But now they've even taken over Times Square. Take a look.
Orders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis, record high crossing.
And anytime anytime Trump plays a clip to show the audience in the rally, the news media, I'm sure you guys have watched, if you guys have seen, one of Trump's rallies before, they don't show the whatever he's showing to them. The mainstream media won't show him.
Are putting a strain on cities across America. It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about my good crime, this is what they're talking about.
San Antonio, Texas, just one of the latest cities to have apartment complexes taken over by members of the Venezuelan gang.
Biden and Harris had created a program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people.
Make sure you guys hit that like button, man. It is very much appreciated. And it's the #1 metric of all of YouTube, man. I very much appreciate you guys hanging out with me this morning,
Who are undocumented cross-borders criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE. Yeah, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members had been terrorizing the apartment complex.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect who cops say committed the heinous murder is a Venezuelan national.
He was paroled and released into the country by the Biden administration.
If they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder and the death.
And 11 years of taking care of family members.
Jocelyn Nungaray.
Martinez and Angel.
That's off to you, gentlemen.
Around Jocelyn's neck, took off her pants, and climbed on top of her. Later strangled Jocelyn to death, and then tied up her hands and feet.
Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for beating and robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
The men threatened to cut off her fingers if she did not cooperate. Manuel Hernandez was booked by Colleyville police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
A Peruvian gang leader who is wanted for 23 murders, who was arrested by Border Patrol near Rolla, Texas, then released into America.
All right, now back to Trump.
That's who we're allowing into our country. We're not going to have a country any longer. That's who we're allowing in.
Mega facts. My hat is off to all of you gentlemen that have taken care of a family member, for real. It's legendary, man. Well, Carney, the one thing that's really hard about like the drug epidemic is it really is an epidemic. What I mean by that is that the United States is the #1 consumer of drugs in the entire world. Because of that, if there's going to be a demand for something at that level, it's always going to be in business. No matter what you do, as illegal as you make it, It's just simple economics. It's supply and demand. You know what I mean? And that is, unfortunately, we've got so many freaking people hooked on this shit, you know, and we're the number one in the entire world. We got to do it up on every aspect, you know, and that's one.
The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. Not going to be happening. Not going to be happening. November 5th, 2024, 9 days from now, will be Liberation Day in America. It's going to be Liberation Day. On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history to get the criminals out. I will rescue every city and town that
Much love, Danny. Have a good one out there and be safe out there.
Invaded and conquered, and we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail. Going to kick them the hell out of our country as fast as possible. And to expedite removals of Tren de Aragua and other savage gangs like MS-13, which is equally vicious, I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Think of that. That's how far back. That's when they had law and order. They had some tough ones. Think of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. You hear that, Mr. Speaker? Get ready.
Uh-oh.
To target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And there are lots of them. We don't have the same country anymore. You know that. And you know, when you look at the polls and they say about the economy and they have all these different things, the worst nightmare that we're facing is what they've done to us on our borders. We had the safest border in the world. In fact, there's a chart, which I hope they have, because I didn't tell them I wanted it, but there's a chart that I love very much because I wouldn't be here without it. That's it.
I timed out the homeboy, by the way. You're cool. Just hang out. Simmer down, like Steve says. I timed you out just so you learn a lesson. You got to listen to the wrenches, man. Whatever the wrenches say, as soon as the wrenches say something, you got to abide by that shit in the chat. Sorry, I back the mods 100% always.
I love it. I'm in love with it. I love that chart. Even if it had bad numbers, I would have loved that chart, but it doesn't. It has great numbers. And if you look at the arrow on the bottom, you'll see that was the day I left office. That was the lowest illegal immigration that we've ever had in recorded history, the recorded history of our country. And then look at it. It was like an Elon Musk rocket ship. Look at what happens. Look at what happened after that. And if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer.
All right, let's make something real quick. What do you say right there?
American. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer.
Nice. Protect our United States citizens, man. Protect us. 100%. Yeah, that's some America shit right there.
Under Kamala, America is a sanctuary for criminals and for illegal aliens that are in our country illegally. I will immediately ban all sanctuary cities in the United States. Kamala's
he said citizens. I'll back it up if you want. He said citizens and the police officers, if anybody attacks a police officer, that's what he was saying. So citizens of the United States, comma, police officers.
This incompetence disqualifies her from being president of the United States of America. She is grossly incompetent. All you have to do is look at her interviews, look at what she did the other night on fake news, CNN. Just take a look. She couldn't answer a question. She's unfit for office. Everyone knows it. No one respects her. No one trusts her. No one takes her seriously. Everyone knows she is a very low IQ individual.
And now I really understand the question, Papa, because obviously law enforcement officer is a citizen. Obviously, you could just say a blanket statement of, hey, they're citizens, obviously, and that covers everybody. So I understand what you're saying. I think that was just him kind of giving also accolades and acknowledgement to police officers and also catering to that vote.
From humiliating our country in Afghanistan to the war in Ukraine, to the nightmare on our border, to her inflation catastrophe, all done in conjunction with Sleepy Joe. But he was largely sleeping, wasn't he? After 4 o'clock.
I figured it out just now.
To his and her egregious hurricane response, the worst response in North Carolina and other states since Katrina, but I think it was even worse than Katrina. They haven't even responded in North Carolina. They haven't even responded. There's nobody. They don't see any FEMA. You know why? They spent their money on bringing in illegal migrants. So they didn't have money for Georgia and North Carolina and Alabama and Tennessee.
So he's not specifically saying FEMA's money. You know what I mean? He's saying the government, if they wouldn't have spent all this money on illegal immigration, then they would have had the money to be able to pay for and help a lot more with these states. So that's what he's getting at. You know, and I know the media is going to twist that shit.
Florida.
And people are going to twist it. People emotionally like, oh, that FEMA didn't do that. No, it's just a trickle effect. That's what happens.
And South Carolina, they didn't have any money for them. They spent all of their money on bringing in illegal immigrants and flying them in by beautiful jet planes.
Oh, man.
We just found out about.
That's a humongous W, Lee. Cheers to you, kind sir. I very much appreciate you. Thank you and your wife for the immense support and also coming down and hanging out with me. You've supported the show, you know, in every aspect, man. I can't thank you guys enough over there. Yeah, it's amazing what we have all created here. And I mean, I put the platform together, but it's you guys that keep this shit, you know what I mean? And make it turn into what it is, man. And you guys are literally 50% of the show. Like, I'm right here, but you guys are 50% of the show. And I fucking love it, man. It's a dynamic that I think all of you guys love too. You know what I mean?
About a year and a half ago, remember we said, what's going on? Those planes, a lot of planes going over there. What are they? They would fly them into the middle of our country, our beautiful, beautiful country. And you know what happened? You take a look
no all
at
caps,
Springfield,
Melba.
Ohio.
Hey, no all caps. No all caps. Type normally. Type normal.
Think of this. Where 30,000 illegal migrants were put into a town of 50,000 people. No place can withstand that. Or take a look at Aurora in Colorado. Colorado is going to vote for us. You know why? Typically, they go a little bit the other way. Of course, with their voting system, I'm not so sure about that. But you know why? Because they tried to throw the leading candidate of both parties, meaning me. I was leading both parties off the ballot.
Real quick, Papa says FEMA is so incompetent, all you have to do is wait until the next natural disaster for a new worse FEMA response.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Listen, very true. Very fucking true,
man. And the people of
Unreal.
Colorado, including Democrats, are very angry about it. They are a threat to democracy, to use their term. Isn't it nice to have somebody that's your president that doesn't need a teleprompter? We haven't been on teleprompter for a long time. I haven't been on this teleprompter. No, it is nice. You saw the other day where Kamala got a little stuck on.
Man, I appreciate that, Carney. Much love, honor, and respect to you, kind sir.
The
Thank you for those
teleprompter went
kind
a little
words.
bad. It stopped on her. You have to be, if you're a politician, you have to be able to handle that. Remember, you have to do the weave, he says. Gotta do
the weave.
You got to do more than the weave. But it happens a lot as a politician. It happens. I mean, we have so many.
Hence why socialism has always fucking failed. You know what I mean? Especially for our size of a country.
Great ones.
I gotta
Really
reset my camera.
Some are
Damn
not
it.
so good, but
Hold on.
great ones. And when Newt, or when the speaker, or when Tommy Tuberville, who's here someplace, the great senator from Alabama, or when any one of our literally 75, by the way, should I introduce all of them by name? I should. Should I? No? Yes?
All right. Fix the
I don't
camera.
know. It's a lot. Speaker, should I? I don't know. Will they be angry? Yeah, they will. It's a lot of introducing, right? Let's keep going with the speech, huh?
Oh, shit.
But, when you have when you're in this profession.
Damn, GEG was a part of Katrina back then. Holy shit. And they failed back then and filled their pockets. Mm-hmm. Anytime there's a humongous disaster, the government is like stoked because they can make a whole bunch of money and they can start using excuses to almost like launder money. Like, hey, we're going to put it here, but really we're putting it fucking over here where we want it. Yeah, it's a disaster.
I have a friend who wanted to come in. I said, do you like speaking? Well, I do, but I have a great fear of speaking. I said, don't be a politician. If you have a fear of speaking, don't be a politician.
No kidding.
But one thing you have to know is that no matter how good your people are that operate this machinery, it's going to break, and you're going to be out there all by yourself a lot, and you got to be able to do so. 3 weeks ago, she was saying there was only 32 days left, right? And she's reading it like,
That's right. And I had a little conversation with him yesterday or the day before about that. Bob from Biker News Canada. Yeah, we talked
it's
about
32 days, and it stopped. And she went this 32 days. 32. And I was watching. I said, this isn't pretty. 32. She was gone. And then, damn it, it kicked back on.
Nah, no one would be disrespectful.
She was gone.
What up, Rebecca? Good morning over there in Canada.
It happens a lot. And don't forget, you got all those people back there. Now, they don't talk about her, but if that ever happened, it happens all the time. I was campaigning in Ohio for a very, very Bernie Moreno. He's doing a good job. I think he's maybe going to win in Ohio. The problem he's got, his opponent, Sherrod Brown, he's taking ads in like he's my best friend. He never votes for me. He's not my best friend. Ohio's been very friendly to Trump. We win it all the time by a landslide, but the opponent is taking ads. I got 4 of them. I think we have 4 of them, right? They're taking ads. All of a sudden, they love Trump.
Of course, Rebecca. Of course. It's hard with all the political nonsense that we're going to have, especially leading up to the very end of this. I mean, we've got, 9 more days until this is all over. Yeah, it'll be nice once it's not so politically hot in here,
Trump on tariffs. We agree with Trump on the border. We love Trump. And they're Democrats. They have friends growing up that they switched to the Republican Party. But it happened with Bernie Moreno. I was in Ohio to try and get him over the initial primary hump. And it was 45-mile-an-hour winds, and these suckers were blowing like, you ever try reading a teleprompter where it's moving about 2 feet in each?
It's brought a lot of entertainment.
But I didn't have to worry about that because even worse, they ended up blowing off the stage a lot of it. So I'm now in the first sentence, and I got 28,000 people and millions of people watching on television. I got no teleprompter. And did I do a good job, Mr. Speaker? And he won. And he won, huh?
That was a true
statement.
statement.
Matt. And he won. And So you're up there all alone. We don't go 32, 32, 32. Oh my God.
Oh, shit.
Kamala Harris is a train wreck who has destroyed everything in her path. To make her president would be a gamble with the lives of millions and millions of people. She would get us into World War III. We're very close to World War III. If you don't have a smart president, if you don't have a president that gets it, if you don't have a president that is respected by the other side, and they did respect us 4 years ago, they really respected us. Iran was broke. They had no money. Russia wouldn't have played with us at all. Russia would have never gone into Ukraine. Israel, October 7th, would never, ever have happened.
It's going to be chaos no matter what.
All those people would be alive right now. Those people that were killed on that horrible day.
I'm already stocked.
But if you don't have a president that gets it, you know what else you wouldn't have had? You wouldn't have had the most embarrassing day in the history of our country, in my opinion, Afghanistan, the way not that they got out, we were getting out, but we were going to get out with dignity and strength. We got out, an embarrassment, the likes of which this country has never suffered. And because of that, Putin looked at us and they probably figured we were a paper tiger. And he went into...
Yo, we got Brother Shay up in the building over there in Dublin, Ireland. Shout out to you over there, kind sir. Respect.
Ukraine, and the rest is history. It would have never happened with us. And you wouldn't have had any inflation. You know, we had the best economy, but we had no inflation. And inflation has destroyed a lot of seniors on fixed income, and a lot of people in this room have been virtually destroyed by inflation. You wouldn't have had inflation. They screwed up our energy, and it went up so much. And then they started spending far too much money on things like the Green New Scam, which is just a scam, just a complete scam.
He's like, I'm holding to that. I'm holding it. Green New Scam.
Did that, if you think about it. But she would get us into World War III because she's incompetent, can't do the job, unfit for it. And then all of your sons and daughters will end up getting a little notice. They'll say, Mom, Dad, what is this little green piece of paper? Oh, yeah, darling, that's a draft notice. They're drafting you to go and fight in some country that I've never heard I've never heard of this country before. Oh, no, I don't want my baby to fight. I don't want my baby to be killed. What they did in Afghanistan with those 13 great soldiers, I've gotten to know the parents so well, and leaving all of that equipment behind and leaving Americans behind, and many, many people with no legs and no arms, all because of...
Hey, don't pick on the no-leg guy. No, I'm just kidding.
Incompetent people. But we don't want your sons and daughters to get a little draft notice and you have to explain to them what it means. We're tired of fighting. I'm the only president in the last 84 years that didn't start a war. Remember Crooked Hillary?
Crooked Hillary? Uh-oh.
Remember Crooked Hillary Clinton? Crooked Hillary, oh, she was a beauty. During one of our many debates.
Stop the cat.
She said, look at him, listen to him. He's going to start a war. Listen to his rhetoric. He's going to start a war.
Absolutely, Andrew. Be safe.
I said, no. My rhetoric is going to keep us out of wars. And that's what happened. 82 years. Other than I finished off ISIS, but that was already started. We had stupid generals.
There was any new wars created under Trump.
Like Milley and Mattis, weak, stupid people. But fear not, we have great generals, just not the ones that you see on television all the time. And we wiped them out very quickly. It was going to take 5 years. Mattis said it would take 5 years, and I'm not sure we could do it.
We need more of this.
Left-handed tobacco. Like 4 weeks. We have great generals. We have the greatest military in the world. Just a lot of people don't know that. And everybody knows it, but, you know, I saw the other day a report that they issued that if we end up in a war with China, we cannot win. We're not strong enough. So I said to myself, assuming that's true, how stupid are you to put out a report like that? How stupid. Why would you put out a report? Then they'll say, oh, Trump is not truthful. No, I'm smart. You don't put out reports like that. And it's not true. We would kick their ass. It's not true.
Yeah, we would kick their ass. It's not true. That's right, Dwayne.
Our enemies are laughing at her. They want her to win so badly. Oh, they don't want Trump. They don't want Trump. I've made this position a very dangerous one because of that. That's why. It's a very dangerous. You know, if you drive a race car, you have 1/10 of 1% chance of dying. If you ride the bulls, I think the bulls are pretty nasty, right? You have about the same 1/10 of 1% of dying. If you become president of the United States, you got a hell of a shot at dying. I never knew that when I ran. I never thought about it, but here we are. Here we are.
Yeah,
and I'm
here
okay
we are.
with it. And I would rather be here than any place in the world.
He's in his motherfucking element. That's USA.
It's called a very dangerous profession.
It is.
But if we win, our enemies won't be laughing anymore. They're not going to be laughing. And you know what? The truth is, I got along with all of them. I got along with Putin. Ukraine was the apple of his eye, but I said, Vladimir, don't go in. Remember, I ended the pipeline in Europe. I ended the pipeline in Europe. And then when Biden came in, he approved it. But he ended the Keystone pipeline, the one in America. So he got it a little mixed up, didn't he, huh?
No kidding.
Nord Stream 2, I said.
Biden, you got the countries swapped. You know, the paperwork that said that you should do this over here. And no, you swapped them for different countries, bro.
We're ending Nord Stream 2. Everybody said, what is Nord Stream 2? I said, that's the massive
tube steak
Russian pipeline where they're going to make a fortune, where they're going to Germany and all countries in Europe. So I said, you mean we're fighting to help them with NATO and spending all of that money, and they're paying the person and the group that we're fighting billions of dollars a month? What the hell are we doing?
No kidding.
I ended it. It was dead. And Biden came along and he approved it. Weak. Look, 30 years ago, he was not considered smart either. So now he's really not smart. If we win, America will be respected, and even if it's necessary, feared again. It's not the worst word. On issue after issue, Kamala broke it, but I will fix it. We're going to fix it.
That was a good way to put it.
But we're just not running against Kamala. I think a lot of our politicians here tonight know this. She means nothing. She's purely a vessel. That's all she is. When you see her up there talking about the grass on my front lawn, I grew up in a middle class.
Yep. Got politically fucking juked, Papa Penguin. Abso-fucking-lutely.
Neighborhood, and I had grass on my front lawn. Yeah, but we're asking, what would you do to fix the country? And why didn't you do it? You had almost 4 years. Why didn't you do this stuff? Now she's, she's becoming more MAGA than those politicians I just told you about from the different states.
Oh, shit.
She can't put two sentences together. She's just like, she's really just like, in many ways, crooked Joe Biden. And she never said to us, she never told us that Joe was not functioning.
Hell yeah. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button, man. I very much appreciate you guys being here, man. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Appreciate you guys for helping out and supporting the show, man.
She should have. Because, we're talking about the life of the most important country in the world. We need very smart people. We're running against something far bigger than Joe or Kamala and far more powerful than them, which is a massive,
that's not enough,
crooked,
Rebecca.
radical left machine.
I don't get that much sleep, but for me, it's like 5-6 hours. Sometimes when I'm super, super lucky, I'll get 7 hours, but usually it is about 6 hours for me.
That runs today's Democrat Party. They're just vessels. In fact, they're perfect vessels because they'll never give them a hard time. They'll do whatever they want. I know many of them. It's just this amorphous group of people. But they're smart and they're vicious. And we have to defeat them. And when I say the enemy from within, the other side goes crazy.
Oh, shit.
Becomes a sound. Oh, how can he say? No, they've done very bad things to this country. They are indeed the enemy from within. But this is who we're fighting. These are the people who are doing such harm to our country with their open border policies, record-setting inflation, Green New scam, and everything else that they're doing.
I don't know how you're still alive then, GG. You're crazy, dude. You're one crazy radical dude.
But we're not going to let it happen any longer. We're going to have the biggest victory in the history of our country on November 5th. It's going to be the biggest victory in history. We're going to make America great again, everybody.
Everybody.
On top of it all, Kamala says she would not do one thing differently from Joe Biden, which is totally disqualifying. And you have to remember this. All of the mistakes he made, and you know what maybe is the worst, but they're all so bad. Think of this. 325,000 children are missing, dead, sex slaves or slaves. They came through the open border and they're gone. Their parents will most likely never see them again, almost any of them. Think of the number, 325,000 children are missing or dead. Take a look at this, please.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the
And of course, anytime he plays anything on the monitor up there for everyone at the rally to see, they don't turn the cameras to show it. They always just keep it on Trump.
4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Not mentioning new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022. 2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking 2 New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Only 18% say the economy is in excellent or good condition.
U.S. inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
Authorities saying Train Day Aragua, which has been linked with more than 100 criminal investigations here in the U.S., has now been found operating its criminal enterprise in apartment complexes.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
So if you want to end this disaster, you got to get out and vote. Just go out and vote.
Yep.
You got to get out. We have to put it away. We're close. We're so close. You know, usually the Republicans are losing in the first week of the early voting.
True.
And we did something that has not been done. I don't think, Speaker, it's been done yet, but it's been done for us. We're leading every one of the swing states, all 7 of them. So
holy shit.
we usually get them from behind. Because Republicans like to vote on a thing called Election Day. You know, the old.
Yeah, we actually like to do it on time. Right. The day that you're supposed to do it? Right.
Days we had election days. Today we have election periods. They go on forever.
Yeah, no kidding.
And last time they went beyond and start early, start late, do whatever the hell you want. You know, we got more votes in 2020 than any sitting president in history by millions. Okay. And we did great, obviously, in 2016 we won, but we did much better in 2020. But nothing compares to what's happening. I mean, you have tens of thousands of people standing outside watching us on a television, and we love you out there. We love you.
I didn't know that, Steve, but I'm glad. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, but yeah, that's definitely interesting.
They're watching. But both of those great races, both of them don't compare to what's happening now. In Florida, we took a massive lead. And all of these places, I mean, there's something happening that's really good. There's something happening that's really good. But let's close it out. Pretend you're 1 point down. Would everybody pretend? Let me just do a poll.
It's normally a red state. It's only, I mean, I know it's considered a swing state, but it was red for a long time. And up until when? I'm trying to remember when it started becoming, was it like that during like Obama when it started swinging blue? I can't remember.
Who has already voted? Who is going to vote?
Absolutely, Warland. Be safe out there. Have a good day. And try to enjoy your Monday, kind sir. Appreciate you.
That's what I like. That would be better than the other way if you've already voted. So I'd say 16, 17, maybe 20%. And we're leading. And most of you haven't voted, but you promise you're going to vote. Everybody promise? Promise?
Yeah, you promise?
It's a lot of people in here. Well, the beauty is that
it's a lot of influence.
You know, a Republican likes to vote late, and they like to vote and make sure their vote's in the box, right?
Right. They vote and stand on time.
They just feel better about it. And so we had a lot of people voting, but really that's the same. I do it in every event. I say, who's voted?
Straight Jacket, good to see you, man.
Last night I was at Penn State, a great place. I actually met, this is an amazing, the national championship wrestling team. They won Penn State won the national championship, but listen to this, 11 out of the last 13 years, even Jim Jordan would be impressed by that. You know, Jim Jordan is a great guy. He's a great wrestler, all-American wrestler, Jim. You can see it by the way he acts. Not afraid of anything, right? And I looked at those guys and they're rough as hell. I said, you may be the only people that can take.
Oh, man, that sucks. You end up getting a ticket?
Trendy Aragua in a fight.
Aragua.
And it won't even be that easy for them. They're tough people. But it was great to meet that team, and those great champions, amazing, really great champions. And we were packed at Penn State.
You have to drive 14 fucking hours one way, not two-way, one way to vote? Where the fuck do you live, cuh? Holy shit. That is crazy.
We were packed. No matter where we go, we're packed. No matter where we go, because there's something happening. And the something happening is they want to take back their country. People want to take back their country. You love the country. I love the country. We want to take it back. I could be right now on the most beautiful beach in the world.
What's up, Pablo? Good to see you, man.
I could be at Turnberry in Scotland. I own it.
Good morning.
I could be anywhere. I got that greatest. I don't have to be here, but I would much rather be at Madison Square Garden with you.
Pretty dope, gotta admit. How crazy would it be if for like the first time in forever that New York actually flipped to red? Could you imagine? Not going to happen. But
so we're
could you
thrilled
imagine?
To be joined today by an incredible group of patriots who are going to help us save our country, including our next Vice President, J.D. Vance. And a man who was so incredible. Last week, I watched that rocket ship come down. I've never seen it. I told this story last night. I was on the phone with a very, very important person, and I'm talking to him, and I'm watching the television while I'm talking to this guy's boring as hell. And I said,
"Damn!
Wait a minute! Wait a minute! I'm looking at the screen." And I see this rocket pouring the fire, the flames. It's all over the place. It was white a week ago, and now it's pitch black from the burning coming down at 10,000 miles an hour. It's coming down at a low. There he is. There is my Eli. He's that great. You know what he was doing for the last week? Campaigning in Pennsylvania. He's a sweetheart, too. So I'm talking to this guy, very important guy, big guy, and I have the television screen on, and there's rockets coming down. I said, you know, it was pure, beautiful white when I left, but it's burned from the fire and the flame, and it is. And now I see it coming down like this, and it's like 20 stories tall or something. It's massive, and it's coming down. And I say to the guy, hey, do me a favor, will you hold on a minute? Just hold on. I'll talk to you. This is like one of the most important people. I'm watching. So just hold on. I put the phone down. By the way, I never picked it up again. Mm-hmm. You know what these people are going to say? He's cognitively impaired. He's cognitively impaired. Oh, you don't think so? They're the worst. They are the worst. So I put it down, and I'm watching.
I did not catch that, Papa. Thank you for putting that into my radar.
This rocket, and I see the engines. I said, oh, it's going to crash. No, because it was looking right next to gantry. I guess they call it the gantry, whatever the hell they call it, the launching pad. And it's coming down at a bad angle, Elon. I wasn't happy. And I was a little worried. You might have been worried too. I said, oh no, it's not going to be good. And then all of a sudden I saw the flame on the bottom left, and it was ripping. The flame was pouring out of that sucker, and it straightened it out like this. And it came down and it landed, and then it's two of these big, beautiful arms grabbed it, and they held it tight.
He's in love with it. He's in love with it.
And I said, I wasn't sure if it was a movie. I thought it might be one of these crazy movies. And I said, I got to call Elon. And I call him. I said, Elon, was that you?
Yo, Dean, good to see you, kind sir. Good morning over there.
About 4 minutes after, was that you? Yep, that was me. I say, Elon, you're a genius. You are a genius. You are he is special.
Yeah, he is.
He is special.
True.
And you know what he wants more than anything else? For our country to be really well run, solidly run, to be run democratically, all the things that everybody in this room wants. And I mean, honestly, he left that pad and he went to Pennsylvania to campaign. Can you believe it?
Yeah, that's pretty radical. I got to admit.
And I asked him a couple of questions. I said, Elon, let me ask you a question. Can Russia do that? No.
Yes, Steve.
Can China do that? No. Can anybody do that other than you? Nobody else can do it. Nobody else can do it. Pretty good. And he said, and they won't be able to.
Elon phone home. That's so
for
funny.
10 years, you said, right? They won't be able to for 10 years. No, he's amazing. He's a great guy, too. He really is. Got to remember him. This is a piece of work.
It is unbelievable.
You know, we had a black hat, right? You saw him with a black hat at Butler. He was there, and it was beautiful. We had 101,000 people.
Hence why Musk is like worth $250 billion. You know what I mean?
Celebrating a great firefighter, a great guy, Corey. And Elon got up, and I didn't even know we made a black hat. I've never seen anybody wear it. I see the red hats all over the place, the white hats. I see all different, but I never saw black. But he liked the black. You know, it's a little different. It's a black hat with black letters, okay? It's called Understated. And I said, you like that hat? He said, I love that hat. I call it Dark MAGA. But you know that after that evening, that became our #1 best-selling hat for that week. All I have to do is put something on them now. You're great. And thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's great. Thank you. And we also have somebody that is great. And look, we're not going to let him go too crazy, Elon, with the oil and gas stuff. And, you know, because Robert F. Kennedy cares more about human beings and health and the environment than anybody. And he's going to be absolutely, having him is such a great honor. I've been friends of his for a long time. And I'm going to let him go wild on health. I'm going to let him go wild on the food. I'm going to let him go wild on medicine.
As you actually should. You should have the smartest people on the planet involved in that shit. Yeah.
The only thing I don't think I'm going to let him even get near is the liquid gold that we have under our feet. I don't know, Elon. He might not like liquid gold. It's oil and gas, sometimes referred to as oil and gas.
He doesn't need it.
JD, I think we're going to have to keep him away from the oil and gas. What do you think, Howard? Yes? But where is Robert? He's around. He gave a beautiful speech. He's a great guy. He truly cares. I mean, he truly cares about this, and it's an honor. And we're also pleased to be joined by my beautiful wife. She's got the #1.
It's got to be crazy every day, Straight Jacket. You don't have to apologize to me. I understand.
Best-selling book in the whole universe. New York Times.
That's weird, Pablo. Typical.
#1 best-selling. Go out and buy one of her. It's a great book. It's a great. You know what? I was nervous when I read
get yourself some sleep there, Rebecca. Much love. Hopefully you have a good day.
I said, I wonder if she said some bad stuff about me. I was very nervous. But she's great. Congratulations, honey. That's a big deal. #1 in the New York Times list.
Yeah.
Now, if she's #1 and her name is Trump on the New York Times list, that book definitely was #1. I guarantee you that. Thank you.
Now too?
And
absolutely,
we have
my man. Be good. Be safe out there. Much love, loyalty, honor, respect, kind sir. We'll see you on the flip side, my man. Appreciate it always.
Fabulous, brilliant woman. Top student at Yale Law School. They were both top students. They're going to have very smart kids. If you believe in that, I believe in it strongly. I would like to have their children because they are going to be smart. Yale Law School, top of the class, both of them. Usha Vance, thank you, Usha, for being here.
Yeah, there's 1,000 million in a billion. And yeah, he's worth $274.7 billion. Fucking unreal. You know what I mean?
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Thank you. Thank you very much. With their 2 beautiful children. And my children here, Don and Eric and Tiffany, and along with Lara, Kimberly and Michael, we have great people. We have Baron Homies watching. That Baron is watching. He's the king of the internet. He's the king of the internet. Oh, who was that? That's very nice. My sister Elizabeth is here. She's great. I don't know where she is, but she's great, and we love her. And Speaker Mike Johnson is here, and he's doing a great job. It's not easy when you have a majority of 3, but he's done a great job, and he's going to continue to do a great job, and we like him. He's a terrific person. I watched him just totally
you know what I can do?
Decapitate.
Since Trump speaks a little slow, what I can do to speed this up a little bit is the playback time. Let's do 1.5 and see how fast it goes. Let me know if it's too fast.
A fake reporter on NBC, Meet the Fake Press. What he did to her was, I think that probably she'll never be the same. Nobody would know. Look at him, such a nice looking guy, just that little beautiful face with the glasses, got the little glasses. Everyone said, oh, he's so nice. He's such a nice person. He's not a nice person. He's not nice at all, right, Matt? But great job. We think he's great. And he's going to be around for a long time, I predict. We have a senator here who I love, Senator Tommy Tuberville. And he's from a great place, Alabama. I love Alabama.
Alabama!
I'm up in Alabama by 49 points. 49 points.
Hell yeah, Alabama. Roll Tide, baby. Hey, I'm going to give it a double. Sorry about it. Hey. Alabama's up 49 points. Get on our level. You know what I mean?
We're up by a lot in a lot of different places, but it's a great place. And thank you, Tommy. And all of our other great congressmen. We have so many if I ever named them. We're going to be up here a long time. So they're going to be angry. They won't speak to me for probably a month or so, but it'll calm down after that. Right, Matt Gates? It'll calm down. It'll calm down. But we have great people.
Yeah, he got some good Adderall in him right now. And they juiced him. The Secret Service juiced him when you guys weren't, looking. They juiced him in his ass.
Really doing a job, and we're going to turn this country around. With me, we got to get the congressmen elected, and we got to get the senators elected, because we can take the Senate pretty easily. And I think with our little secret, we're going to do really well with the House, right? Our little secret is having a big impact. He and I have a secret. We'll tell you what it is when the race is over. I also want to thank Jim Dolan and everyone at Madison Square Garden for an unbelievable, this is unbelievable. I've watched the Knicks and Rangers here, and what a location. They tried to talk Jim out of this location. We're going to move you to the river. We're going to move you all over the place. And he's tough. He said, I don't know. They offered him all sorts of money. We're going to move Madison. It's a
What's
very
up,
prime
Big Red?
location.
Good to see you over there, man. Hopefully you're doing well in the beautiful state of Maine, kind sir.
We're going to move it to the river. Well, we're right on top of every train hub in it's like the world or something right here. And he didn't like it that much, but he was offered a lot. Man, did he make a good decision. That would have been peanuts compared to the value. But there's no place like Madison Square Garden. Thank you very much to Jim and all of you people.
All you people.
But here are the facts. Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crazy Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas.
Of course, Bernie Sanders.
She destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of defund the police. Can you believe it? She was one of the originals for defund the police. And anybody who wants to defund our great police for even 1 week is not worthy of being president of the United States because that's where her thinking is. Kamala vowed to abolish ICE. You know, those tough people you've been looking up at the screen? They're the ones that get them out of our country. I know a lot of people right in these rows. They're very tough. They don't want any part of it. They got to go in there, fist a-blazing to move them. You know, we had a case in Long Island where MS-13, one of the other really bad gangs, killed 2 young girls, 16 years old, walking to school. They didn't shoot them. They knifed them and they cut them into little pieces because it was so painful. Perfect, young, beautiful girls were cut up into little pieces by knives. MS-13, they're animals.
No way, Hardwire.
And you know who took
Really?
care of it for us? ICE. ICE, they had no problem. Kamala wants to defund ICE. We're not defunding ICE, right? We're not defunding ICE. We're not even going to think about it. She's never going to get the chance. There's no way she becomes president. There's no way. Radical left lunatic who she destroyed San Francisco. She destroyed, along with Gavin Newsom, the governor, who's the worst, one of the worst governors in the country. They destroyed California. And she's not going to get a chance to destroy our...
Yeah, that did happen. I mean, Gavin Newsom definitely fucking ruined California. It was a huge contributor, and so it's Kamala Harris, actually.
Any further, we're going to get it back fast. She wants to ban fracking, and as California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as a totally nonviolent...
What they ended up doing, Big Red, is when you weren't right before you got here, Secret Service, said he was talking a little slow. So they walked up behind the podium where we couldn't see, and then they stuck him with a booster of Adderall in his ass. You know what I mean? And then he's just now tripping.
Violent crime. She pledged to confiscate your guns. Is there anybody in the room that would like to give up their gun to come? I had a feeling you might say that.
I do?
And endorsed a total ban on...
What did I say? What did I say that is similar?
Handgun ownership. I don't think that's good. When a criminal crawls into your house at night, it would be nice to be able to at least have a chance, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be nice? She even called for free sex change operations on illegal aliens in detention at taxpayer expense. Think of it. At taxpayer. She said they're caught, they're illegally detained.
Oh,
but
Trump.
If they want a sex change operation, she's all in favor. Now, she gave this stuff up about a year ago, a little more, because it didn't work. It wasn't working too well with the electorate. But she'll be back to it because that's where it is. She's a radical left person from San Francisco. She destroyed the place. But she lied about that, but she also lied about something very important.
Yeah,
For years and
that
years-
would be fucking hilarious. But yeah, that's obviously a joke, YouTube. All right, there we go. How about that? That was an obvious joke. You know what I mean? And for anybody that takes that shit out of context, you got some
emotional damage.
She said she had a job at McDonald's. And the reason I went there last week, you know that I got a call from Sundar, very smart guy at Google. He said, this is the most amazing thing. We've had just about more hits on this crazy McDonald's store. And I went there just to prove a little point. So you never know how something's going to work out.
There we
Mr.
go.
VP, do you?
I fixed it.
But he called and he said, we've had more hits on McDonald's than I think he said anything we've ever had. But let's say it's close. And did anybody watch Joe Rogan recently? Right?
I did not see it. I honestly did not see the Joe Rogan podcast with Trump on it. I heard, honestly, what I heard from 2 days after it was done, which was yesterday or whatever. I heard that it wasn't anything like I had to fucking watch and present, especially. That's just what I heard. I heard it wasn't like anything crazy that we haven't heard before. I'd actually rather hear him at a rally like this because he's really able, like whatever he's saying is what he's going to be doing for the country,
So she lied about McDonald's. She lied about everything. She's got ads on saying Donald Trump is this. He's going to do this. He's going to do. It's the exact opposite what my policies are. She's got me doing this. He doesn't want to frack. No, I'm all for fracking. And I have been for one thing. I have been, even the enemy, because they are the enemy, what they've said, even that enemy too, and they're really the enemy. They're the enemy of the people, the press. They said one thing about me that I consider a great compliment. They said, this guy's the most consistent person we've ever seen, because I've been against cars and car factories being taken out of Detroit.
What's
and
up,
being
Carney,
taken out
man?
of
I
our
appreciate that, man. I
manufacturing of
very much
automobiles being
appreciate
taken out
that
of our
kind.
system, out of our country for years. I've been against all of the things that are happening and have happened. We stopped it, and now it's happening again. When you hear 50,000 manufacturing jobs lost in just a short period of time, but I've been the most consistent because we're going to bring our manufacturing back to the United States. It's all coming back, so get ready. Get ready. You're going to have your choice of great jobs. And on top of all this, Kamala tried to turn our military woke.
I had a few people tell me that, by the way, hence why I didn't cover it and go back and like watch it. You know, it wasn't like, hey, you need to watch what the fuck is being said here. You know what I mean? No.
So tonight, whether you are a Republican, Democrat, or independent, conservative, or liberal, I'm inviting you to join the greatest political movement in the history of our country. It's really, it is. You know, it's the greatest movement in the history of our country. I tell the story years ago. There's a guy, is a great guy, older guy now, very old, but he was great, conservative guy, Pat Buchanan, right? We know Pat Buchanan. He came in second in the New Hampshire primary, and for 45 years, he made an unbelievable career of it. He was a hot item. He was on every show. He came in second in one primary. We came in first in 50 primaries. We then had a great election that we won. We then had another great election that we did a hell of a lot better in, and bad things happened. We're not going to let that happen. COVID. They used COVID.
That's what I heard too, man, which is crazy. You would think that that was the time for him to fucking do that, but who knows? Maybe even Trump's people were like, "Nah, you ain't saying this. You ain't." You know, I mean, there could be that too. Just to be completely fair, you know what I mean? Even though I know Trump is a bit of a loose cannon, he'll answer whatever the fuck you basically throw at him. But I'm sure that his team was like, "Nah, we ain't talking like that on here," or whatever. You know what I mean? Who knows?
But we then had an election. But now we have the election of, well, this will be, in my opinion, I have to say if, because, you know, there's always risks, I guess. But if we pull this off, this will be the biggest political event in the history of our country. Right? And we're building the biggest, broadest, most diverse coalition in American history, including union workers and Border Patrol agents. By the way, the Border Patrol gave me last week their complete and total endorsement. They said he's the greatest president in the history of the country, but we don't have to go that far.
This motherfucker
and they
said
there's never been anybody like him on the border. They said to him, the fake news said, has she ever called you? No. They didn't like that answer, by the way. Then they asked her, have you ever called? No, she never called. Almost 4 years, she never called, not once, the Border Patrol. And she was the border czar. She was in charge of the border. Now, think of it. 4 years, she never called. Now she's trying to say, well, you know, I was really not the border. Whether she was the border czar or not, she was put in charge of the border by Sleepy Joe. And then he went to bed. He put her in charge.
Then he went to bed.
She did the worst job on the border than anybody has done in the history of the world. There's never been a border like this in the world. And a third world country would fight people with sticks and stones to stop them from pouring into that country. And we let them just come right in. What a shame. What a shame. Police and firefighters also. We have every endorsement from virtually every sheriff's department, police department.
Makes
I don't
sense.
think they have one cop. They're looking for just one cop.
He doesn't want to lose that mega platform he got.
Is there one? Well, it's not going to be in New York's finest. By the way, how good are the police outside? New York's finest.
What's up, Frank? Good to see you, man. Good morning. Good morning.
And you know, I want to thank Mayor Adams, because Mayor Adams has been treated pretty badly. You know, when he said that this whole thing with the migrants coming into New York, this is just not sustainable. You know, we can't do it. We're trying to run a city. We got 100,000 migrants coming. We can't.
And they mess with me. YouTube, I'm not anywhere close to anything. You know what I mean? And I still get fucked with. So imagine on Joe Rogan's level. Yeah, it's true.
Can't do it. It just can't do it. It's not feasible. It's not good. He said it very nicely. I said, well, he's going to be indicted by these lunatics for saying that. A year later, he got indicted. I think they upgraded his seat in an airplane. This is a very serious story.
Gunpowder Nitro's ready.
They've upgraded my seat a lot too. I used to fly commercial. I don't fly it so much anymore. But they'd see me back there and, sure, would you like an upgrade?
Steve, good to see you up in here.
But I have to tell you, he's been really great. And he said that they shouldn't be calling Trump a dictator because it's not true. That's nice. That was nice.
You said that was nice?
Very nice. So we want to thank Mayor Adams. He's going through a hard time with these people. These are lunatics, by the way. They've weaponized the Justice Department against their political opponent. I am under investigation more than the great, late Alphonse Capone. My father's looking down on me right now. He's a tough guy, but he was like legit. And I know my mother's in heaven. I'm not 100% sure of my father, but it's close. But he's looking down at me right now. And he's saying, how the hell did this happen to my son? He's not a bad person. I'm a good person. All we want to do is straighten out our country. But all of the veterans are with us. All of the—
How much tougher she's got it. Stop the cap, bro.
Stop the cap. Stupid.
The steel workers, I saved our steel I saved our steel plants, and I don't like Japan buying U.S. steel. U.S. Steel used to be like Elon Musk, like 70 years ago, the best company in the world. You know that, Elon? You wouldn't know, he's too young to know. U.S. Steel was the big baby. That was big. I don't know. There's something nice about U.S. Steel being.
I started during Obama. That's what I did.
The biggest, as opposed to Google. You know,
Bravo.
It's like a different kind of a company. But we sort of need steel in this country. Like, we're not going to go to war with me as your president, but if we don't, on the long shot that we do, we don't want to say we need steel. Like, can we get it from China? Or can we get it from someplace else? But, you know, it's always a possibility. But I will tell you, you're not going to have a war with me, and you're not going to have a third world war with me. That I can tell you. But we need steel. And I would not approve U.S. steel being bought by Japan. I wouldn't do it. Just out of psychologically not good. We'll help them out, but I don't like it. We're seeing historic levels of support among our black population, Hispanic population, and our Asian population. Jews, Muslims, by the way, did anybody see yesterday? Did anybody see what took place? I was with the Muslims yesterday in Michigan, and when the polls first came out, they had 100%, I had 0. And yesterday, I watched this anchor on CNN almost choke. She said, something's happening in Michigan, big population, a couple of 100,000, a lot of votes. Something's happening, the poll just came out. Trump is at 59.
Did you guys watch that CNN interview with Kamala? I'm probably going to review that tomorrow.
Kamala is at 8 with the Muslim population. They never saw anything like that either. And these are people, by the way, they're great. They just want peace. They want to have peace. And it's great. So Jews and Muslims and Catholics and evangelicals and Mormons, and they're all joining our cause in large numbers, larger than anyone has ever seen in this country before, larger than they've ever seen in any country. And the Republican Party has really become the party of inclusion, and that's something very nice about that.
Yeah, that's kind of
And
crazy.
we're a big, powerful.
It turned like right ass backwards, which is crazy about that.
And they're losing it.
We've become the accepting ones. We've become the kind ones, the including ones. It's very interesting how that fucking shit flopped. You know what I mean?
They're really losing it. Together, we will lift America to glory beyond your wildest dreams. It's going to happen fast, too. So in conclusion, with your vote this November, we are going to fire Kamala, and we are going to save America.
Yeah, Gary loves them balloon shows, doesn't he? He loves them shows. I'll do like 4 of them this week for him. You know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands and thousands of factories back to America. We're even going to get Elon to bring that stuff back. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire.
All right, Gunpowder Nitro, be safe out there. I always appreciate you. Don't overwork yourself, kind sir. Have a good one, man.
I will end the war in Ukraine, which would have never happened if I were president. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III from happening. We will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. I rebuilt our military in total. We built all of our military, built 571 miles of wall, too. I took it out of the military because I couldn't get it from the people in Congress that should have given it to us. So I considered it an invasion. I said to a couple of generals, I said, congratulations, this is an invasion of our country. So I took it out of the military, had 9 lawsuits and won them all. We will build a massive defense shield, all made in the USA. We're going to build a beautiful dome over our country. And a lot of it's going to be made right here in New York. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., which has become a very dangerous and badly managed place. We're going to make them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag.
Hey, that's good sentiment right there. How could you go against that?
And as long as the Speaker of the House of Representatives is here, I would like to put forward a bill, because I watched 2 months ago as some very bad people, radical left people, by the way, nothing happened to them, in Washington, D.C., burned our American flags. They were burning flags. And I would like to suggest that we put in a bill, if you burn the American flag, 1 year in jail.
Oh, that's going to be controversial right there. That's going to be some controversial shit regarding the flag. He said, if you burn the flag, we're going to propose a bill for a year in jail.
We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools.
I agree with that.
And we will keep men out of women's sports.
I agree with that as well.
I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms. Our Second Amendment is under siege. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are finally
wasn't going to say that. I think that was not a good thing for him to say, honestly.
To build up our country, defend our borders, and protect our citizens. It's called America First, and it's going to happen at levels never seen before. And I'll tell our friends, our allies, who sometimes treat us very badly, that it's about time we take care of ourselves. And we will stop the illegal immigration that's taking place at levels never seen before. We will stop it cold and once and for all. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be overrun. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation once again. Everyone will prosper. Every family will thrive. And every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. And very much so, it will be filled with the American dream. We're bringing back the American dream. And we're going to bring it back at the highest level that you've ever seen. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is too big to rig. So you need to get out and vote.
That's exactly why, right there, like most people, like when it comes down to freedom of speech and just freedom in general, yeah, it's hardcore when it comes down to especially freedom of speech, because everyone wants to preach freedom until it goes against their quote unquote freedom. And then that's when it starts getting questionable, right? So that's the whole thing. But yeah, you know what I'm getting at.
Vote. Get your husband off the couch. The football game doesn't mean a damn thing. You got to get out and vote. Get up, Harry. Come on, Harry. Get up, Harry. Let's go. You're going to vote for the president, Harry. We're going to save our country. For the past 9 years, we have been fighting against the most sinister and corrupt forces on earth. With your vote in this election, you can show them once and for all that this nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you. It belongs to you. No city embodies the spirit, energy, and potential of the American people more than where we are gathered tonight. We want to win our country, but we also want to win New York and make it safe and strong and beautiful and affordable and vibrant again. And we're going to do that. And we'll work with the mayor and we'll work with the governor. We're going to do that.
I agree with that, Big Red.
Great. You know, when I left for Washington 8 years ago, we had a horrible mayor named de Blasio. He was a horrible. And things you could see they weren't being properly done, but still it was a place that people wanted to be and all. But since then, our federal government, what they've done to this place, what they've done to the state, and I mean, to force hundreds of thousands of really rough people into this beautiful, I call it a beautiful oasis. When I left, New York was the place you wanted to be, and now people just don't speak well of it. But we're gonna bring it back, and we're gonna bring it back strong. And I hope you go out and vote. You got to vote for. You got to vote. It would
because we're the only country that like fucking will allow you to do that. That's why, you know.
Such an honor to win New York.
Every other country will like take you to jail. You know what I mean? Like that shit, they don't fucking play.
Done in decades. Hasn't been done in so long. It hasn't been done in so long. They all say, sir, you're wasting your money. I don't think so. Your crime is through the roof. Everything is through the roof. I remember during the debate, they said, no, sir, this stupid person named David Muir from ABC Fake News. He said, sir, crime is not through the roof. Crime is down. I said, no, it's not. I said, it's not down, it's up. It's down. I was like debating three people. I had him, I had that person next to him who I never even heard of. But it turned out the following day, they released the stats and crime was up 45%. And what a shame. What a shame. We really need a fair press.
It is a huge issue, actually, but what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? I mean, do I personally agree with that? And do I morally object to it? Yes, I do morally object to it. And no, I do not agree with it, right? But, you know, this is where freedom of speech and this is what's really, really hard and complex about this. You have to think really big picture on that. You know what I mean?
A fair press, that's going to be 50% of the battle of bringing it back. But this is the city where I was born and raised, and this is the town that taught me that Americans can do anything when they want to. So no matter our differences, when we work together, there is nothing that we cannot achieve. From New York to Las Vegas, from Philadelphia to Phoenix, from Chicago to Charlotte, from Atlanta to Detroit, this nation was built by generations of American patriots who gave everything they had for our rights, our future, and for our freedom. Through freezing cold winters and hot, scorching summers, through storms and setbacks and conflicts and danger, our American ancestors pushed onward, marched forward.
No fucking kidding. And you're getting both sides of the aisle right there, Papa, which is 100%. He said the idea of desecrating the flag is a carefully crafted idea. Commit an act that angers people while using the ideals it represents to protect your own fucking act. 100%. Yep, and it's sad.
Every single obstacle that stood in their way. Together they crossed the oceans, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, raised up those mighty skyscrapers, built the highways, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and launched American astronauts to the moon. It was hardworking patriots like you who built this country, and 9 days from now, it's hardworking patriots like you who are going to save our country. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of the USA. With your help from now until Election Day, we will restore America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we all love.
That's a heavy statement, Papa.
We bleed the same blood. We share the same home, and we salute the same great American flag. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never, ever back down, and we will never, ever, ever, ever surrender. Together we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. We're going to win, win, win. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, New York. God bless you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Well done. I got to give it to him. He did all right there. Now, there was a couple of mess ups that I personally didn't agree with. He would probably argue the point with me, obviously. But hey, I don't see Kamala Harris going out here and speaking to anybody for longer than 7 minutes. So, yeah, kind of like what Papa pointed out earlier. We have, was it Papa or Steve? I can't remember. It was Steve, I think. And he goes, we got one president that won't shut the fuck up. And we got one that won't speak at all, or maybe it was, but I can't remember now. Damn. There's so many comments, man. You guys blow me away with your guys' immense support, man. I'm thank you guys so much for putting your guys' input into all of this, supporting the show, liking the video. Guys, it's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. If you guys can do me that big favor and hit that like button. And if you guys are new here, hit that subscribe button down below, man. I very much appreciate all of you guys for your guys' thought process, your guys' love and support and all that. Also, Beezer gifting out a membership earlier in the stream. I very much appreciate that, as well as Brother Shadow. Thank you guys for the support. It goes so much further than you guys understand, man. I very much appreciate all you guys. We couldn't do this fucking show without you guys. Sincerely, and I fucking mean it. Sincerely, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Every day, I really am like beside myself, man. And I try to do my absolute best to give back as much as I possibly can, and hence why I do so much internal, just a lot of studying, trying to figure out research, just all of this, you know what I mean? And so I try to be as tip-top shape as I possibly can be for you guys. But thank you guys for trusting me with your guys' news sources and hanging out with us. Make sure if you guys are also new here, you guys haven't followed me yet on Instagram, it's at BallValveTV. It's where I post everything behind the scenes, man. Keep up with the shows and all that stuff. And that's where I correspond with everybody, by the way. That's my correspondence with everybody. So with that being said, I cannot thank you guys enough. We'll see you guys. We've got, let's see. I'm sure I'll be joining a panel probably. But if not, we'll see you guys in the morning. Much love, honor, respect, everybody.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burns.